पर्यमा शं इंद्रो बृहस्पतिः शं नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् शांति शांति शांति. We will continue the yesterday's lesson and we will explain more about the days and nights until we can have a rough understanding of the day and the night of one whole creation. That means one creation of one solar system, which is called one day and one night of the Creator. And in Sanskrit, in the scriptures, the Creator is called Brahma. So, this is explained as the day and the night of Brahma. And before we enter into the detail of the subject, I wish to explain about the four phases of the Creator. The scriptures describe that the Creator is having four faces on one neck, and he is a little child sitting in a lotus, and the lotus has a stalk which comes from a center. This center is described as the navel of the Lord of Pervasion, whose body is the space unbound. And this fellow, the Lord of Pervasion, is called Vishnu in the scriptures. And the word Vishnu means the one who pervades and one who exists in everything. That is the content of the whole space. And since to our eye the space unbound appears blue, Vishnu is described as having a blue colored body, and he is of two different states of existence. One is the vertical and the other is the horizontal. When vertical, he is represented as standing, and while horizontal, he is represented as lying, representing the two phases of the background, that is the active and the passive phase. It is stated in the secret doctrine that space exists as little globes of space. Each globe is active for some period and passive for some period. The active and passive phases alternate. Once again, the law of alternation holds good. And the two alternations represent the inhalation and exhalation of the creation, of the supra-cosmic level. This is what is called the cosmic breath in the secret doctrine. So, and now about the four faces of the Creator. It is to explain us a subtle fact how the creation comes out. it is to explain that the creation comes into existence in 4 stages. We have seen the doctrine of globes the other day. The globe which starts on the A stage comes to physical existence on the D stage. That means in the 4th stage it comes into physical or objective existence. That is the maximum of what a creation contains, because it once again recedes back and it has no further steps of creation. So it can be considered as the full blown stage of creation. So we find that the creation comes down in 4 stages, and in the 4th stage it takes the objective state of existence. And these 4 stages are described as the 4 phases of the Creator. And these 4 stages are called the stages of utterance of the Creator. Unless we know how the Creator creates, we may have an idea that He does the creation just as we do with the machines and articles in our world. We deal with everything only on the 4th stage in this world. And whenever we are expected to do something, some work, we deal with it only on an objective plane. That is, the thing which we deal is different from ourselves. So we understand the creation also in the same way, unless we are properly informed. The 4 stages of creation are not objective, only the 4th is totally objective. I have explained you previously once or twice, but I will once again explain. It takes the process of the utterance of a word. Suppose I say, this is a color container. What I used is a sentence. The sentence, this is a container, can be called vocal sentence, and I uttered it in English. You may utter it in French. Therefore, it can be called language sentence. So it is vocal language sentence. And before I utter this sentence that this is a color container, I should utter the sentence in my mind first. Unless I utter in my mind, I can't utter vocally. So before this vocal language sentence is uttered, there should be another sentence, its original, which can be called mental language sentence. It is uttered in English, but it is uttered in mind. And then only I uttered it vocally. So whatever sentence we utter vocally in our language has its original sentence uttered mentally. And before I utter in my mind that this is a container, I should utter in my own language. It may be English or French or German, but before it is uttered in a language, it should be uttered in the thought. First, the idea comes to the mind that this is a container, and then it is translated in my mind in English, because I know English. If you know German, it will be translated into German. If you know only French, it will be translated into French. So the same thought sentence will be received by everyone, but it descends into his own language sentence, and then he utters. So before we utter the language sentence, and before it descends into our mental language sentence, it should be existing in the thought stage without any language, because it has not yet descended into a language. So we have 3 stages of every sentence we utter. Without these 3 stages, we cannot utter any sentence. And before the third stage, there is another stage. Before we utter it as a thought, we should get the thought as a suggestion to our mind. That is, the proposal should come to our mind that we should talk. That is the fourth stage. It can be called the proposal to utter the sentence. It exists as the utterer himself, and it is in no way different from the utterer. So this fourth stage is called the utterer himself as the sentence. Just as the wave in the ocean is not different from the ocean, the utterer of the sentence is in no way different from the utterance. But at the same time, just as the wave is different from the ocean, the utterance is different from the utterer even in the beginning. So, two different stages coexist in the fourth state. That is, the utterer himself is the utterance. At the same time, the utterer is different from the utterance. And when the suggestion comes to our mind that we have to utter the idea, the suggestion exists one with ourselves. Before it comes as suggestion, it was with us and it was ourselves. And when it came out as a suggestion in the mind, it came out different from ourselves. So, first at this stage, the suggestion comes to us, and then it comes out into the next stage, then comes out into the next stage, and finally it comes out as the vocal language sentence. This is how every word and every sentence is being uttered by us, every one of us. Without these four stages, we can never utter either a word or a sentence. And the whole creation is uttered in the same way by the Creator. First, the creation was with the Creator in his subjective existence. It was not different from himself. Just as our knowledge exists with us when we are sleeping, all the languages we know, they exist with us when we are sleeping. They do not exist separately. They exist only as ourselves. Only when we wake up, our knowledge becomes different from ourselves. So, just as our knowledge is existing with us in our sleep, the whole creation first exists with the Creator without any difference at all from the Creator. It is all subjectivity and has no objectivity. And then he gets the awakening, and then the creation comes to his mind as concept or thought, and then it comes to him as shape, number, color, etc., and also name. And then in the next stage, it is uttered totally into objectivity, and the difference between himself and outside begins to occur. That is, the Creator utters the creation out from himself, as a result of which we begin to feel the difference between our inside and our outside. Every one of us has the idea of our inside and our outside. In fact, there is nothing like inside or outside, but there is only the idea. These are the four stages that occur. And to understand, we started from this side, but when they take place, they take in the reverse order. This is the first stage, second, third, and fourth. In this order, they occur. Only to understand, we proceeded in the reverse order. It is about this that the Bible speaks in mystic language. It gives us a mantra. That is, first there was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. All these sentences are translated from the same source into all the scriptures of the world. So, these four stages are called the four faces of the creator. So Brahma the creator is said to have 4 faces, and then he begins to create. That is why the 4th stage is the full blown stage for every globe in this creation. And beyond the 4th stage are the material existence. There is no further externalization possible. Again it begins to withdraw. This is one aspect of the creator and the creation. And then about the day and night of creation. First of all, let us observe our own day and night to understand things better, because we know it better than the other bigger days. When we stand on this earth and begin to observe the 4 corners of the earth, we have our own east where the sun rises, and we have our own meridian where the sun comes to our head at noon. And for certain astronomical reasons, this is called south. And then there is the west where the sun sets, and there is the bottom under our feet where the sun exists at 0 time in the night. And for certain astronomical reasons, it is called the north. In astrology, it is called the nadir or the bottom. And these are called the 4 cardinal points of the day. And in the astrological language, the east is called the 1st house, the north is called the 4th house, the west is called the 7th house, the meridian is called the 10th house. Of course, it is divided into 12 houses, but since we are not learning astrology today in this class, the other houses and their divisions are not necessary here. We are concerned only with the 4 cardinal points, and the whole day is therefore divided into 4 equal divisions, and each has a duration of 6 hours. The whole day is 24 hours. That means each is divided into 6 equal parts. Why? What is the reason why the day is divided into 24 equal parts? Why not 20? Why not according to the metric system? That is, one day is equal to 10 hours, 1 hour is equal to 10 minutes, like that. Is there any good reason for having 24 divisions as hours? Or is it only arbitrary or accidental? Or is it that some fool might have done it into 24 equal divisions in the beginning and we followed it? Can anyone tell me why it is divided into 24? In the earliest days of the 24. Why it is 24? Yes. Of course, it may be arbitrary, but it would not have existed for so many millions, at least thousands of years. There should be a sufficient reason. Suppose I say today is full moon. Do you accept? No. Because yesterday it was full moon. Until today also there was full moon. Now for the time being it is not there. Unless there is sufficient reason, how can you assert that yesterday was full moon? If it is arbitrary, after 3 days if I say today is full moon according to me, you have no point to argue. There is the moon according to whom we are deciding. Similarly, there must be some such reason which makes us understand the day as 24 hours. In the ancient days, when the humanity was existing on this earth as infant humanity, the Devas imparted wisdom to humanity just as they are imparting to us as the laws of nature around us. But since the humanity was in its infant stage, and since the humanity was less intelligent, it had a clearer mind than we have now. And the Devas could reflect truths upon their mind more clearly than they could do it now. Of course, even now they are doing with the same degree of clarity. The only thing is, we have no much time to listen to them. But the infant humanity had much time to listen to the Devas of nature. And when they began to observe the sunrise and again the second sunrise, they could understand the nature of the day more easily than we understand now. Because to many of us it is only a routine matter, whereas in fact it has many secrets of creation underlying every sunrise. And again they observed the moonrise and again the next moonrise. They found some difference between two moonrises in time and in the duration, and also in the size of the moon and the shape of the moon every day. And they had very easily the understanding of the difference between sunrise and the moonrise. And the new moons and full moons attracted them more clearly than they attract us now. And also they could understand that a bigger cycle is existing which we call year, because of this cycle of seasons recurring again and again. And when they suspected the cycle of the year, they observed that 12 new moons and 12 full moons occur in every cycle. So they understood the whole year with 24 divisions as the nodal points of the year. And they had a clearer idea of the science of analogy, which the masters of wisdom call the science of correspondences. So according to that, they understood the day as a model of the year. And since the year is having 24 divisions, they could easily suspect that the day also was having 24 equal divisions. And since then they began to understand the day as 24 hours. And as we go into the secrets of astrology, we will clearly understand how these hours affect upon us differently. For example, if there is anyone who knows astrology among you, you can easily know that the hour of Mars has a different effect upon you than the hour of Jupiter. So every hour differs in its influence upon us from any other hour. So there is a clock rotating around us every day as the result of the Earth's rotation on its own axis. For this reason, there are 24 hours in the day. Same is the case with 360 degrees at a point. Why should it be 360? Why can't it be 100 or 1000? For everything there is a reason in nature which can be clearly understood and interpreted and used. So the whole day is divided into 24 hours. Each hour is divided into 60 minutes. Each minute is divided into 60 seconds, etc. All these divisions have a great significance in nature, not arbitrary. Otherwise, some fellows would have multiplied by 60, whereas some other fellows of another nation might have multiplied it by 70 and declared, according to our government or our republic, the hour contains 70 minutes. But it cannot be so, because the causes exist in nature as phenomena, and man tried to follow the phenomena of nature. All came to the same understanding about these figures. Now, another division of the day is 30 equal parts. The whole day is made into 30 equal divisions. And if you go into the ancient astrological tradition of the scriptures, each division is called an occasion. It is used in a scientific way for a certain purpose. In Sanskrit it is called muhurta. When we go into a study of astrology, if we have any opportunity to have 1 month classes for ancient astrology of the scriptures, which is much different from the market astrology of the 20th century, we will know the sacred purpose of these divisions. And again, each is divided into 2, so the whole day has 60 half occasions. They are called in Sanskrit ghatis. Of course, each is divided into 60 once again. Each is called vighatis. V means division. Vighatis means divisions of the ghatis. And each of this is divided into 60. But since they are very minute, let us not go into them. For the present, let us remember that the day is divided into 60 equal parts. And we use these calculations in our traditional calendar of India. Even today, we depend upon these calculations. So, one day is 60 ghatis and 7 days is 1 week. 2 weeks is called half day of Pitrus, or you can call it the day of Pitrus, that is daytime. Another 2 weeks is the night of the Pitrus, that is when the moon is increasing, it is called the day of the Pitrus. When the moon is decreasing, it is called the night of the Pitrus. The total is called 1 month to the human beings and 1 night and day to the Pitrus. And 12 months make 1 mortal year, which is 1 day to the Devas